Right now, more than 100 million Americans have some form of liver disease. 1 in 3 adults over 50 is walking around with a liver that is already damaged. And here is what should genuinely frighten you. 90% of them have absolutely no idea. They feel fine, their doctor has not mentioned it, their annual blood work came back normal, because the liver does not hurt until it is nearly destroyed. This organ performs over 500 functions every single second of your life. It filters your blood, it metabolizes every drug you swallow, it produces bile to digest your food, it stores vitamins, it builds proteins that hold your blood vessels together. And it does all of this in complete silence. No pain receptors inside the organ itself, no alarm bell, no warning light on any dashboard. The liver does not scream with pain. It screams with signs that show up everywhere else in your body, signs that most doctors glance at and dismiss in a 12-minute appointment. Your liver weighs roughly 3.5 pounds. It sits on the right side of your abdomen, tucked beneath your ribs. It is the largest solid organ in your body. And it has a property that no other organ possesses. It can regenerate. You can lose 70% of your liver tissue, and the remaining 30% can grow back to nearly full size within weeks. That regenerative capacity is exactly why the liver can absorb punishment for years without producing a single symptom. It keeps compensating, keeps rebuilding, keeps covering for the damage until the damage outpaces the repair. And then the failure is sudden, dramatic, and often irreversible. Here is what happens inside the liver when damage begins. First, fat accumulates in the liver cells. This is called hepatic steatosis. At this stage, you feel absolutely nothing. Then, the fat triggers inflammation. This is steatohepatitis. Still no symptoms. The inflammation begins quietly killing liver cells. Please subscribe to Dr. Nathan Hayes and hit the like button. This channel exists because the system profits when you stay sick, not when you get better. What I am about to tell you, nobody at your next appointment is going to volunteer. The cruelty of liver disease is its timeline. By the time you feel something, you have already passed through 3 silent stages: fat, inflammation, scarring, then collapse. Dead cells are replaced by scar tissue. This is fibrosis, still no symptoms. The scarring spreads and hardens. Healthy tissue is strangled by fibrous bands. This is cirrhosis. And only now, often years or decades after the first fat droplet appeared, do symptoms finally surface. If your skin or the whites of your eyes have turned yellow suddenly and you are experiencing confusion or drowsiness at the same time, that is a medical emergency. Acute liver failure can progress to coma within 72 hours. Do not wait. But the body is not completely silent. The liver sends signals, not through pain, through other channels, through your skin, your eyes, your gut, your brain, your hands, your sleep. Those signals are what we are going to go through today. 6 of them. Some you have already noticed, some you have been told are normal for your age. None of them are normal. They are your liver talking. Before we get to the 6 signs, I need to say something as a physician with 15 years of clinical experience. There are situations that require a doctor, not a video. Fatigue. Not the tiredness you feel after a bad night of sleep, not the heaviness at the end of a long workday. This is a fatigue that does not resolve with rest. You sleep 8 hours and wake up feeling like you slept 2. If you are vomiting blood or material that looks like dark coffee grounds, that may indicate ruptured varices in your esophagus, a life-threatening complication of advanced liver disease. Call emergency services immediately. If neither of those applies to you, you can stay with me. The liver forgives a great deal if you act before fibrosis becomes cirrhosis. Let us make sure you never get there. Sign number 1, the sign that hides in plain sight. Here is the mechanism. Your liver converts food into usable energy. It processes glucose, stores glycogen, and regulates the release of fuel into your bloodstream throughout the day. When liver cells are damaged, this process slows. Your body runs on a fraction of the energy it should have. You sit down in the afternoon and cannot generate the willpower to stand back up. Your brain is foggy. Your motivation has collapsed. The world feels like it is running at double speed while you are operating in slow motion. And everyone around you, including your doctor, tells you this is normal after 50. It is not normal. She was not depressed. Her liver enzymes were elevated. An ultrasound showed moderate fatty liver with early fibrosis. She had been treating a symptom while the cause sat silently in her abdomen for years. Simultaneously, the damaged liver cannot efficiently clear ammonia from the bloodstream. Ammonia is a byproduct of protein metabolism. In a healthy liver, it is converted to urea and excreted through the kidneys. In a struggling liver, ammonia accumulates. Even small elevations cross the blood-brain barrier and interfere with neurotransmitter function. The result is brain fog, loss of motivation, and profound fatigue that no amount of sleep can fix. I had a patient, I will call her Margaret. 58 years old, retired teacher, walked into my office convinced she had depression. Her family doctor had already prescribed an antidepressant. She told me she had not felt rested in over a year. She had stopped going to her book club. She fell asleep at 3 in the afternoon every day. Her husband thought she was losing interest in life. Look at your face in the mirror. Look at your hands. Look at the skin across your chest and shoulders. What you are looking for are 3 specific findings. First, spider angiomas. These are tiny red spots with thin red lines radiating outward from the center, like a spider sitting in its web. They appear most commonly on the face, neck, upper chest, and shoulders. They are caused by elevated estrogen levels. The liver is responsible for breaking down estrogen. When it cannot keep pace, estrogen accumulates and dilates small blood vessels near the surface of the skin. A single spider angioma means nothing. 5, 10, 15 of them scattered across your chest is a clinical finding. Margaret had 7. She had shown them to her primary care doctor at a physical. He called them cherry angiomas, said they were cosmetic and age-related, and moved on. They were not cherry angiomas. Cherry angiomas are raised, dome-shaped, and uniformly red. Spider angiomas are flat, have visible radiating legs, and blanch when you press the center, then refill from the middle outward. 2 completely different findings. That distinction was missed, and Margaret lost 2 years of intervention time. Second, palmar erythema. Turn your hands palm up and look at the fleshy base of your thumb and the outer edge of your palm beneath your little finger. If those 2 areas are persistently red, noticeably redder than the center of your palm, that is palmar erythema. Same mechanism. Elevated estrogen, dilated capillaries. Most people assume it is from washing dishes or dry skin. It is not. Third, a yellow tint. Not dramatic movie-style jaundice. I mean a subtle warm yellow cast to the whites of your eyes, a creamy tone to the skin that was not there before. This is bilirubin. Bilirubin is the breakdown product of old red blood cells. The liver processes it, conjugates it, and routes it into bile for excretion. When the liver falls behind, bilirubin accumulates in the bloodstream and stains everything it touches. The eyes show it first because the sclera is the thinnest tissue with the least competing pigmentation. Sign number 3, the one you blame on aging. You eat a normal meal and within 30 minutes you are bloated, gassy, and uncomfortable. You feel nauseous after anything fatty. Fried food sits in your stomach like a brick. You have developed a pattern of alternating constipation and loose stools that has no clear cause. And you have accepted this as just how digestion works after 50. It is not aging. Here is what is happening. Your liver produces between 500 and 600 milliliters of bile every day. Bile is stored in your gallbladder and released into the small intestine after you eat. Its primary function is emulsifying fat, breaking large fat globules into tiny droplets that digestive enzymes can process. When liver function declines, bile production drops. When bile drops, fat does not get broken down. Undigested fat irritates the intestinal lining, produces gas, triggers nausea, and disrupts the rhythm of your bowels. The bloating after meals, the intolerance to fatty food, the gurgling and cramping, all of it traces back to a liver that can no longer produce enough bile to do its job. There is a secondary effect that most people never connect. Bile is the vehicle through which you absorb fat-soluble vitamins. Vitamins A, D, E, and K. When bile is compromised, these vitamins pass through your intestines without being absorbed. Vitamin D deficiency weakens your bones and immune system. Vitamin A deficiency dries out your skin and impairs your night vision. Vitamin K deficiency makes you bruise easily and bleed longer from small cuts. Vitamin E deficiency accelerates skin aging. You go to a doctor complaining of dry skin, easy bruising, and low energy. You get prescribed a vitamin supplement. The supplement does not work because the problem is not intake, it is absorption. And the absorption problem is a liver problem. Sign number 4, the one nobody thinks to check. You fall asleep fine, then somewhere between 1 and 3 in the morning, your eyes open, wide awake, alert, sometimes anxious, sometimes sweating, sometimes with your heart racing slightly. You lie there for an hour, eventually fall back asleep, and wake up exhausted. This has been happening for months. You have tried melatonin, you have tried chamomile, you have tried cutting caffeine, nothing works. Here is the physiology. During the first half of the night, your liver is performing its most intensive detoxification work. It is processing the metabolic byproducts accumulated during the day, clearing hormones, filtering blood that has pooled during rest. When the liver is overburdened, it cannot complete this cycle smoothly. Metabolic waste products that should have been cleared begin accumulating. The body interprets this as a low-grade stress signal. Cortisol rises. You wake up. Not from noise, not from a full bladder, but from a stressed liver, triggering your adrenal glands in the middle of the night. Margaret reported this exactly, every night, between 1:30 and 2:30, wide awake. Her sleep specialist found no apnea, no restless legs, no circadian disorder, because the problem was not in her brain or her lungs. It was in the organ sitting under her right ribs, working overtime and failing to keep up. Sign number 5. The one your partner notices before you do. Your breath has changed. There is a slightly sweet, musty quality to it that was not there before. Your spouse mentions it. Your sweat has a different smell, sharper, more acidic. You shower twice a day and still feel like something is off. Nobody brings this to a doctor. It is embarrassing. People suffer in silence, buy stronger deodorant, avoid close conversations. The medical term is fetor hepaticus. It is caused by dimethyl sulfide and other volatile compounds that accumulate in the bloodstream when the liver cannot fully metabolize sulfur-containing amino acids. These compounds circulate, reach the lungs, and are exhaled. You are literally breathing out what your liver cannot process. The same compounds seep through sweat glands and alter your body odor. Most people blame diet, hygiene, or hormones. The real cause is a filtration system operating at reduced capacity. Meanwhile, the liver continues to deteriorate because the signal was ignored. Sign number 6, the one that genuinely frightens me as a clinician because of what it implies. You bump your arm on a doorframe and the bruise lasts 2 weeks. You get a paper cut and it bleeds for 5 minutes instead of stopping in 30 seconds. You notice small bruises on your legs that you cannot remember getting. Your gums bleed when you brush your teeth. Your skin heals slowly. Cuts that should close in days linger for a week or more. Here is why this is serious. Your liver manufactures clotting factors. These are the proteins that form the mesh that stops bleeding. Without sufficient clotting factors, your blood cannot coagulate properly. Minor trauma produces disproportionate bruising. Small wounds bleed longer. This finding is not cosmetic. It is a direct measurement of your liver's synthetic function. When the liver can no longer produce enough clotting factors, it means a substantial number of liver cells have been lost or replaced by scar tissue. Synthetic failure is a late-stage finding. If you are bruising easily and healing slowly, your liver has been struggling for a long time, and the window for intervention is narrowing. Margaret had noticed the bruising. She had shown her arms to her daughter. Her daughter said it was blood thinners, but Margaret was not on blood thinners. She was on a statin, a blood pressure medication, and a daily aspirin. She assumed the aspirin was the culprit. It was not. It was her liver quietly losing the ability to produce the proteins that keep you from bleeding. 6 signs. Let me lock them in. Fatigue that does not resolve with rest. Spider angiomas, palmar erythema, or subtle yellowing of the eyes. Digestive collapse and vitamin malabsorption, waking between 1 and 3 a.m., changes in breath and body odor, easy bruising, and slow wound healing. If 3 or more of these apply to you, you are not aging. Your liver is signaling, and you need to listen. How old are you? Write your age in the comments. I want to understand who is watching this channel because the age of my audience directly shapes which risk factors I prioritize in future videos. After 50, the liver processes toxins roughly 30% more slowly than it did at 30. After 60, the decline accelerates. Your age is not just a number, it is a clinical variable, and it matters here. Now, what do you do? The first step is confirming whether your liver is actually in trouble. You need specific tests, and most of them your doctor will not order unless you ask. First, a liver function panel. This is a blood test measuring ALT and AST, two enzymes that spill into your blood when liver cells are damaged. Normal ranges vary by lab, but here is something critical. Normal does not mean healthy. Many people with significant fatty liver disease have ALT and AST within the published reference range. The range was established on a population that includes a large number of people who already have mild liver damage. If your ALT is above 25 for women or above 33 for men, even if the lab report says normal, there is a reason to investigate further. Second, GGT, gamma-glutamyl transferase. This enzyme is one of the most sensitive markers of liver stress, particularly from alcohol, medications, and metabolic overload. It rises before ALT and AST do. Many doctors do not include it in a standard panel. Ask for it specifically. Third, an abdominal ultrasound, and if available, a fibroscan. The ultrasound shows the physical structure, whether fat has accumulated, whether the texture has changed. The fibroscan measures liver stiffness, a direct proxy for fibrosis. No biopsy required. Take those results to a hepatologist or a gastroenterologist, not a general practitioner, a specialist. A physician who spends every day looking at livers will catch subtleties that a generalist will miss. Walk into that appointment with your test results already in hand. An informed patient gets a completely different conversation than a passive one. Now, while you wait for those appointments, here is what you can start doing tonight to give your liver the conditions it needs to begin recovering. First, remove trans fats immediately. Partially hydrogenated oils. These are in cheap margarine, packaged cookies, store-bought pastries, and most deep-fried fast food. Trans fats are directly hepatotoxic. They damage liver cells on contact. Read every ingredient label. If you see the words partially hydrogenated, put it back on the shelf. This is not optional. This is the single most damaging ingredient in the modern diet for your liver. Second, remove added sugar, specifically fructose. Unlike glucose, which every cell in your body can use, fructose is processed almost exclusively by the liver. A glass of orange juice delivers roughly 25 grams of fructose directly to your liver in a single hit. That is the metabolic equivalent of a shot of alcohol for the liver. Packaged juices, soft drinks, sweetened yogurts, granola bars, these are all delivering concentrated fructose to an organ that is already struggling. Cut them tonight. Third, alcohol, even moderate consumption. The most current evidence shows that there is no safe threshold of alcohol for liver health. Every drink is processed by the liver, and every drink causes measurable oxidative stress to liver cells. If your liver is already showing signs, alcohol is gasoline on a fire. Stop it completely for 90 days and reassess. I know that is not what you want to hear. I am telling you what your liver needs. Now what to add? Begin every morning with a glass of warm water with a slice of lemon. Not hot, not cold, warm. This gently stimulates bile flow. Bile thickens overnight during the fast. The warm water with lemon encourages it to move. A single lemon costs pennies and lasts 3 to 4 days. If you have elevated stomach acid or ulcer history, substitute with half a teaspoon of honey. Same principle, gentler delivery. Second, dandelion root tea. 2 tablespoons of dried dandelion root per cup of boiling water. Steep for 20 minutes. Drink half a cup before your main meal. Dandelion root is listed as an official medicinal plant in pharmacopoeias across Europe. It stimulates bile production and supports the liver's ability to process fats. At any health food store, it costs less than a standard box of tea. Bitter, yes. Worth it, absolutely. Third, cruciferous vegetables. Broccoli, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, kale. These contain compounds called glucosinolates that are converted in the body to sulforaphane and indole 3 carbinol. Both compounds have documented hepatoprotective effects. They support phase 2 liver detoxification, the stage where the liver converts fat-soluble toxins into water-soluble compounds that can be excreted through urine. 2 servings a day, lightly steamed, not boiled into mush. The enzymes that activate the protective compounds are heat-sensitive. Fourth, milk thistle. The active compound is silymarin. This is not folk medicine. Silymarin stabilizes the membranes of liver cells, making them more resistant to toxic injury. It stimulates protein synthesis in hepatocytes, accelerating cellular regeneration after damage, and it functions as a potent antioxidant, neutralizing the reactive oxygen species generated when the liver processes toxins. Pharmaceutical-grade preparations standardized to defined silymarin concentrations are available at any pharmacy. Follow the dosing on the label. This is one of the most evidence-supported botanical agents in hepatology. Now, the protocol. I call this the liver recovery reset. Morning, daytime, and evening. Takes less than 10 minutes per day. Morning. When you wake up, drink your warm lemon water before anything else. Wait 20 minutes. Then eat breakfast. Start with protein or fiber, never sugar, 2 boiled eggs with vegetables, plain oatmeal with a teaspoon of real butter. No packaged juice, no sweetened cereal, no pastry. Your liver's first job of the day should not be processing a sugar bomb. Daytime. Take your dandelion root tea 20 minutes before lunch. Eat 2 servings of cruciferous vegetables across the day. Take your milk thistle with a meal. Drink water throughout the day, minimum 50 ounces. And move. Walk for 20 minutes after lunch. The liver benefits enormously from post-meal movement. Walking increases portal blood flow, the flow of blood from your intestines through the liver, and accelerates the clearance of metabolic waste. Evening, last meal at least 3 hours before bed, no fried food, no processed meat, no alcohol, no sugar. After dinner, 20 minutes upright and moving. Before bed, 5 cycles of diaphragmatic breathing. Inhale through your nose for 4 counts, belly rises, hold for 2 counts, exhale through your mouth for 6 counts, belly gently drops. This activates the parasympathetic nervous system and reduces the cortisol load on your liver during the overnight detoxification cycle. This is why you will stop waking up between 1 and 3 a.m. Margaret followed this protocol for 90 days. She eliminated all alcohol, cut processed sugar completely, started each morning with warm lemon water and dandelion tea before lunch. She added broccoli and cabbage to her daily meals and began taking standardized milk thistle twice a day with food. She walked for 20 minutes after lunch every single day. After 90 days, her repeat ultrasound showed measurable reduction in liver fat. Her ALT had dropped from 52 to 28. Her energy had returned. She was back at her book club. She was sleeping through the night without waking at 2 a.m. for the first time in over a year. Her husband told her she seemed like a different person. She was not a different person. She was the same person with a liver that finally had the conditions it needed to heal. The liver forgives. That is its gift. But it forgives on a timeline, and that timeline gets shorter after 50. Every year of delay narrows the window. Every month of ignored signals allows fibrosis to advance one stage further toward the point of no return. Which brings me to the critical question: how many of the 6 signs apply to you right now? Count them honestly. Fatigue, skin changes, digestive problems, waking at night, breath and odor changes, easy bruising. If the number is 3 or more, schedule those lab tests this week, not next month. Here is your 5-step plan for this week. Step 1, stand in front of a mirror under natural light. Check the whites of your eyes for yellow tint. Check your chest and shoulders for spider angiomas. Check your palms for redness at the base of the thumb. Step 2, call your doctor and ask specifically for ALT, AST, GGT, and a liver ultrasound. If they resist, tell them your family history concerns you. Step 3. Tonight, remove every source of packaged juice, margarine, and processed sugar from your kitchen. Step 4. Tomorrow morning, start with warm lemon water 20 minutes before breakfast. Step 5. Walk for 20 minutes after lunch every day for the next 7 days and observe whether your afternoon energy improves. One clinical note: if you have 1 or 2 signs, this is likely early-stage fatty liver, fully reversible. Start the protocol, get the tests, and follow through. If you have 4 or more signs, especially the bruising and the breath changes, you need to see a hepatologist urgently. Do not wait. Do not try to reverse this with food alone. Get imaging, get a fiber scan, know your stage, then build the plan with a specialist. One more thing. Many of you are eating fried and smoked foods daily with no idea what they do to your liver. High-temperature cooking in fat generates toxic compounds that are directly damaging to liver cells. Every time you eat heavily fried food, you create a toxic load your liver must process at the expense of its other 499 functions. The cleaner your food, the lighter the burden on this organ. And one more factor, chronic stress. Sustained anxiety, daily irritability, persistent frustration. These drive chronic cortisol elevation, which impairs bile flow and contributes directly to liver cell damage. You can eat perfectly and follow every protocol, but if you are living in chronic stress every day, your liver will continue to deteriorate. What runs through your head matters as much as what you put in your stomach. The breathing exercise I described in the evening protocol is not optional. It is a direct intervention against this. 5 cycles of 4-2-6 breathing activates the vagus nerve and switches your nervous system from fight or flight into rest and recover mode. Practice this before bed every night. Within 2 weeks, you will notice that your 1 to 3 a.m. waking episodes begin to decrease, not because you are sleeping better, because your liver is working better. Nobody at your next clinic visit is going to sit down and walk you through these 6 signs. There is no billing code for it. There is no time for it. There is no financial incentive for a system to keep you out of the waiting room. I am Nathan Hayes, and I have spent 15 years watching what happens when people dismiss the signals their liver is sending. Most of the time, the damage was entirely preventable. The protocol I just walked you through costs almost nothing. Warm water, a lemon, dandelion root, vegetables, and the discipline to use them every day. Your doctor is not going to walk you through this. There is no revenue in a patient who does not need to come back. That is what this channel exists for. Every person who subscribes makes it more likely that the next person who needs this information actually finds it. Subscribe if that difference matters to you. Please subscribe to Dr. Nathan Hayes and hit the like button. Thanks for watching.